Hey there, Mama Work It Tribe. I'm Marisa Lonic, working mom of 4, lover of all things flow, family, and fulfillment. You're tuning in to the Mama Work It podcast, where we take aim at overwhelm, mom guilt, and exhaustion and swap them out for big dreams, belly laughs, and productivity that actually fits into your life. Every week, we dive into tips, motivation, and a healthy dose of fun so you can slay your day even when you're busy AF. Ready to feel seen, energized, and totally unstoppable? Let's get to work, mama. Hey, mama friends. Welcome back to another awesome episode of the Mama Work It podcast. Happy New Year. This is our first episode of 2026. I am pumped. I mean, this podcast has been around now. We're coming up on 5 years. We started in January of 2021. So this is kind of a fun, exciting milestone for me over here at Mama Work It. I'm going to talk about one of my fave topics that I love to talk about, but I felt like it was very fitting of where we're at. We're in a new year. A lot of people in the new year like to set New Year's resolutions, New Year's goals, and I do too. I'm not going to lie. We do this every year. I write down my goals. We do vision boarding in our house as a family, and it's just a fun tradition that we like to do every single year. And so this year, I figured for this episode, what I would do is I would share some of my best goal setting tips, tricks, ways that I lean into, that I think really work, that I manage with my clients to help them achieve big, dreamy, audacious goals. And so if you are excited about setting some type of New Year's resolution or goal, if you are listening and it's not January, that's okay. You can set goals any time of year. And if you're frustrated because you've done this before, you can't seem to get it to stick, you're not sure why, this is definitely a great episode for you to tune into. So if you are new in town, let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Marisa Lonic. I am your host and the founder of Mama Work It, where we support women in the juggle of mom life, wife life, work life, fill in the blank life, all the hats we're wearing, all the roles we're juggling. And I'm excited again to dive into one of my absolutely favorite topics today. I myself am a working mom, 4 kids. Right now they are 12, 8, 6. I think I got that right. Yes. Every time we kind of transition birthdays, which that happens for us from like summer to fall season, I have to reset my brain into how old everybody is. So yes, I got that right. Anyways, all right, let's dive into today's topic. Again, goal setting, goal achievement, all things goals. Perfect for this time of year. Let's go. So the first thing I want to talk about is the why behind goals, because you might be wondering, like, why does this even matter? Why is this important? And I know most of our listeners are ambitious working moms, and so you get it. You're my people. Like, we understand each other. But maybe you've had a moment where you're questioning, like, why am I even doing this to myself? Like, I have enough on my plate. Why even bother with goals? What does it even matter? Like, maybe I should just forget about it. And maybe right now that is a season where you need to kind of not lean in super hard to a goal or goals that you have. But I also want to remind you, if ambition is in your DNA, if it's part of who you are, and for most people, some portion of ambition exists. Like, we all have things we're striving for, even if we're pretty laid back and, not super type A or whatever. Goals are important. And so the reason why we have goals, or the reason why we like leaning into goals, is because they give us really clear direction as to where we're going. So if you've ever been driving and your phone dies, your GPS is not functioning properly, it can be quite frustrating if you don't know where you're going. right? And you kind of feel lost. And so when you have goals, you have a very clear direction of where you're headed. It also helps us obviously perform better in whatever we're doing. So if we know exactly where we're going and what we're striving for, we can align action to get there. We can be more intentional with our time to arrive in a more like timely fashion and get there quicker and easier and just with more intention. It also keeps us motivated. It keeps us focused. And what I also love about goals is they eliminate decision fatigue. Do you know how many decisions we are making each and every day? I mean, it's insane, the stats on decision making, and then add in being a mom. Like, we're not only making decisions for ourselves, we're making decisions for likely children, family, like all the other things. So that can be exhausting, and having really clear goals can reduce that decision fatigue. And personally, I think goals make us happier. Like, when we're working towards something, we feel like we have a sense of purpose. And so those are all just some of the reasons why it is, in my opinion, so important to have goals. So maybe I mentioned this earlier, maybe you've been here before where like you get all excited, Jan 1, you set a goal, whatever it is, and you're full force, like you do a total 180 from December 31st to January 1st, whether that's like your health and fitness, whether that's your focus on a project or whatever it is. And then come January 15th or even January 7th, or dare I say January 3rd or 4th, I don't know. You fall off the bandwagon. I mean, essentially, like it's tough to stick to it. And reason being is we often try to change too much too fast. If you've been a listener for a while, you know I've said this before. When we try to do too much too quickly, too much change at once, it's really hard to sustain it, to keep it going for the long term. Yes, I love a good reset every now and then. I love a good detox, a good cleanse where you do something really drastic, but those are typically in my life very short-lived. You know, I've done like social media cleanses, 24 or 48 hours. I've done, like body cleanses. The longest one I ever did for that was 21 days. And let me tell you, it was freaking hard. It was freaking hard. I did that postpartum after my last baby, a few months into postpartum life. And it was a great reset of my body, and it helped me learn a lot of things about my body. But yeah, it was freaking hard to stick to that for 21 days. And I think knowing that it wasn't going to be long-term kept me going. And so when we're thinking about long-term goals here for the new year, while a reset's great, it's usually not a long-term sustainable solution. So going too fast, too quickly, too much change is kind of a surefire way to not stick to it. So let's talk about today some methods that I have, some ideas that have worked here for me, for clients, like I mentioned, that are going to help you not only set the right kind of goals, but to achieve those goals, like to really lean in and be successful at this. And I've got personal experience on this. I've got professional experience working with clients on this, and there's data out there to prove it. So if you're not sold after you listen to today's episode, I would highly encourage you, like, go Google some of these stats, go Google some goal setting information, and trust that this has been studied for quite some time by lots of professionals out there. And basically, in a very like cut and dry way, I'm about to tell you, this shit works. So grab a pen, a paper if you can. If you're not driving or out and about and it's safe to do so, maybe jot some of these things down, because that in itself is going to help you achieve these goals. Literally, even just writing it down. But if you're not in a safe place to do that, that is okay. I know I listen to podcasts often on the go, in the car, when I'm walking or running or whatever. And so you can always come back and re-listen. So don't stress, don't worry. All right. So let's talk about first, one thing that I will tell you when it comes to goal setting. And this is a tip I like to give a lot of my clients. I do this every year personally. And it's to be very intentional about how you want to feel, what you want the year ahead, especially since we're in January here, to look like for you. Like, where is a lot of your energy going to be striving toward this year? So how I do this is I pick a word of the year. A word of the year. I do this every year. I've done it for the past probably, 6 years, 7 years. And it's a word I like to lean into when I feel like maybe I'm straying away from my goals. Maybe I am feeling a bit distracted from my goals. Maybe I'm just feeling a little lost even where I'm at. It's just kind of like this one word that I know that can anchor me, basically. And if you are a fan or an owner of the Word to Your Mother journal planner, you know that I have you do this every night for the next day. Like, pick a word to be intentional for your next day. And sometimes that word is really like slay, motivated, energy, power. And sometimes it's like rest, reset, be, whatever it is. And so I want you to think about the year as a whole ahead of you. And if that feels too daunting, maybe just think about the quarter, maybe think about the month, maybe think about the week. Honestly, maybe think about the day, whatever it is. And think about what intention you really want to be leaning into with that word. For example, my word last year was fun. Fun, F-U-N. I felt like I used to be really fun, and then I felt like I wasn't that fun for a while, just leaning into all things like adulting and responsibility and motherhood and work and all that. And I really wanted to get back to that place. And so it was a word that in 2025, I leaned into hard. And when I felt like I wasn't leaning into it, it was a great reminder to reel me back in. And so think about a word that could be your word this year for intentionality. This episode is being sponsored by Cozy Earth. It's a new year and I love a fresh start. A simple way to make that happen in your home: refresh your sheets and towels to start off 2026 right. As a mom, you know sleep can be a hot commodity. So when you get it, you want it to be that good. Well, let me just say, if sleeping in the comfort of what heavenly softness must feel like sounds like the best thing ever to you, go get yourself some Cozy Earth sheets. These are the most lush sheets I have ever slept on. It's like a hug from the sleep fairy after a very long, exhausting day of working mom life. And if you're like me and you don't get to visit the spa very often during this season of your life, before you get into that bed with your Cozy Earth sheets, go take an extra long shower and then wrap yourself in a Cozy Earth bath towel. I'm telling you, you can trick your mind into thinking you just visited a luxury spa. These purchases are risk-free, which means you can try them out. And if you don't love them, return them hassle-free. But trust me, you won't want to. And they have a 10-year warranty. What? Like, my oldest kids will be in college and these sheets will still be under warranty. That is insane. Do yourself a favor, start the year off right by gifting yourself the most lush sheets or towels or both, because you have been working it and you deserve it. Go to CozyEarth.com and use my code MAMA, that's MAMA, for up to 20% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here on the Mama Work It podcast. All right, next tip I'm going to give you when it comes to setting goals, achieving goals, is called the WOOP. WOOP. I did not make this up. It has been researched. It's a great kind of framework acronym to follow when it comes to deciding on your goals. And the WOOP stands for, the W stands for wish. And you ask yourself, what do I really want? Because if you don't really want it, you're probably not going to be excited to work toward it and achieve it. The O, first O, stands for outcome. Why do I want to achieve this goal? Like, what's the why, the purpose behind it? That has to be really solid, strong, well-known. because there are going to be days with this goal that you probably aren't feeling it. You're not that motivated. You're not that excited. And if you lean back into your why when it comes to that on those hard days, you'll keep going. The next O stands for obstacle. What could prevent me from achieving this goal? Is it your current schedule? Is it, I don't know, the unpredictability of motherhood? Is it your job? Is it whatever it is? Okay, what could prevent you? And that doesn't mean you just like be like, oh, okay, well, I guess I need to quit my job to achieve this goal. No, that's not what it means. It just means being aware of that obstacle helps you kind of creatively figure out how to work around it, how to work with it, how to make it part of the process of getting there. And then the last letter, the P, I bet you can guess what this stands for if you know me. If you've read Time Management, you know I'm a big fan of this word, but it stands for plan. Plan. What steps can I take to achieve my goal? This is really important. Like being organized and intentional when it comes to working toward a goal is essential because it's like kind of like if it's not planned, it's not real, it's not happening. You know, like if you don't plan what you're going to make for dinner, you're probably just ending up getting takeout or fast food or something. If you don't plan to go to the gym, lay out your clothes, whatever it is, sign up for the class, you're probably not going to go. You know, like it's just too wishy-washy if you don't have a plan of action in there. Now, I'm not saying the plan always goes as planned. We got to be flexible with the plan, but just having that really sets you up for success. All right, the next tip I'm going to give you when it comes to goals, you've definitely heard this before, I bet. I am not giving you new information when it comes to this one, but that is setting SMART goals. If you've worked in the corporate space, you've probably done this at work. Even if you haven't, it's a really great framework for how you set your goals. And SMART is another acronym, and it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Let's unpack that real quick. So specific, the goal needs to be really specific. It needs to be something that can't be kind of this, again, I'll use the wishy-washy, like too fluffy. Like it just needs to be really clear cut. All right. Then measurable. How are you going to measure your success with that goal? What does that mean? Does it mean if you hit this number on the scale, you've hit it? Does it mean if you've, logged this many hours working out? Does it mean if you've had this many dates with your significant other or this much quality time reading to your kids? Like whatever it is, measurable. Achievable. Is it realistic? Is it realistic? I mean, I think sometimes as high achievers, we put really impossible standards on ourselves. And listen, this by all means does not mean don't shoot for the stars. Not at all. I want you to have like huge, audacious, obnoxious, ridiculous goals. I think that is super important. I want you to like reach for the moon, do it, like go for it. Big dreams, do it. I want you to also be realistic on, is that end point, that result achievable if we're thinking the year ahead in the next 12 months? Or is there a stepping stone that you need to set for the year ahead to get there? So is it achievable? Relevant. Does it make sense for what you're striving for what you're hoping to achieve? Like that word maybe that you chose earlier, is it relevant to this goal? Do they align? Is it linked to your values? Does it make sense for what you're really trying to envision and see yourself doing? So maybe deep down you have this goal of having this incredibly flexible life with, ridiculous work-life balance and just being able to like volunteer whenever you want at the school or, on a random Tuesday afternoon, like pick up your kids early and go get ice cream or whatever it is. Maybe that's like this dream you have, but then the goal that you've set is like working your ass off toward a promotion. That doesn't feel very relevant to what your like deep down core is wishing for in this moment. So is it relevant? And then lastly, time bound, like setting a deadline for this goal. So whether that be the end of the calendar year, whether that be 6 months from now, 3 months from now, the end of the month, the end of the week, whatever it is, set a deadline. So that is just a quick little overview of SMART goals in case you haven't leaned into that in a while. Good reminder. All right. Next tip when it comes to goals and achieving them is habits. You know, I've talked about this before. I love me a good habit. I think habits are just one of the best ways to effortlessly change your life. And I say that because a habit is something we do without really thinking about it. And let's get real, like we think about a lot, day in and day out. Like our minds are always going, the mental load is real, the mental load is heavy. I feel like I've talked to other moms on this show before. I know certain examples that have come up is like, it's just a constant, ticking, like a printed piece of paper, like constantly going through our brain, right? Or it's just like, it's really, really hard to like shut it off. And so habits make it possible to not have to add to that thought process, add more to that mental load in that list, and just kind of do. And so the best way for habits to work is to start small. And I've taught about this many times before, and I love referencing one of my favorite TED Talks. You can find them on YouTube, and I will pop it in today's show notes. It's by a habit professor named BJ Fogg. And he talks about, and he's an author as well, and he talks about tiny habits, like something so super small and easy that you do consistently, ideally 21 days, because that's what scientific evidence says is about the amount of time that it takes for a habit to stick. And then you rinse and repeat, you add on from there. And so what tiny habit can you start today that can help you work toward perhaps this bigger, scarier, larger scale goal? And if you are interested, I have a free habit accountability tool that can really help you stay organized, on track, and get there. So be sure to check today's show notes for the link to that, and it can help you start a new habit ASAP. All right, we are moving on to our other tip here, which is about visuals. Now, I mentioned this earlier in today's episode, and I'm going to tell you again, I love doing this activity, vision boarding. We do this every year as a family. I have like now recruited my whole family to vision board with me. It started as a solo thing, and then it got to be really fun. My kids got involved and my husband does it now. And it's just like such a fun family thing that we do every year. So what I love about vision boards is they're visual first and foremost. So if you are a visual learner, if you are someone who really gravitates toward like aesthetically pleasing or pictures, and a lot of us do, it's a great way to keep your goals front and center. It's fun. It's like a fun activity. It's very tactile if you're using magazine clippings and, you know, a poster board and glue and scissors and all that stuff. So it can be a kind of a fun, if you're a crafty person, you can make it as, you know, creative and beautiful as you want it to be. It can also be digital. You can do it on Canva. You can do it, you know, you can do it on a Word document. I mean, it's so like as simple or as complex as you want it to be. Right? It could take you 5 minutes. It could take you 5 hours. And I love vision boards because they keep our goals front and center. Like my vision board, I keep it in a place where I see it daily. And so it is like a constant reminder, a beautiful reminder, if not that, of the things that I am hoping to achieve, attract this year. And I will tell you, they work. They work. I mean, I have been doing vision boards for years now, and I can't even begin to like list all the things that have transpired in my life. And yes, did I work toward those goals? Absolutely. I put the work in, I put the reps in. But the fact that it was front and center every single day, that I was looking at it, that I was visualizing it, that I could have this idea that would come to life for me. I really owe a lot of that, I think, to the activity and the presence of a vision board. And so I know we've got past episodes talking about vision boards. You can go and listen to those and kind of get more information on it. But I would encourage you, fun activity to do with your family or to do solo or to grab some girlfriends and do it with them. Vision board. All right. Another tip here when it comes to goal setting, goal achievement is gamifying it. Gamifying it. So I learned this word gamify one year when I went to a Salesforce conference, and a lot of their training in-house at Salesforce is gamified. And there's a big reason behind that, right? Like, this isn't just to make it fun, of course, which who doesn't like to have fun while they're learning or just while they're working toward achieving something, but it definitely like triggers something in your brain to execute, to keep going, to work harder, to aim for more, whatever it is, because who doesn't like to win? Who doesn't like to win? Who doesn't like to compete? Who doesn't like to compete even against themselves, right? And so, and maybe some of you are like, it's not really my thing, but games are fun. Listen, we spend a lot of time, a lot of us on our phones, just doing board games, like all kinds of games. Like, games are fun things to do, a fun way to pass the time. And so why not include that gamification into your goal setting? So I'm going to share a really simple example of something that stuck with me from years ago. I was talking to another mom, and she said something that she gamified in her life was when she would brew her coffee in the morning, she would empty her dishwasher, and it was like a game. It was like, could she empty the dishwasher before the coffee was done brewing? And every day was like a little competition that she would do with this. And what did it do? It made her have a more tidy kitchen. It made her feel like she got something done before the day even really started, before she had a cup of coffee. It got her kicked off her day on a really productive note. And it was a fun way to just kind of gamify a task. Like, who loves emptying the dishwasher? I don't know. I don't. But it made it more fun for her. And so one thing that another mom friend does with her goals every year, and I'm definitely leaning into this one this year, I love it so much, is she sets up a bingo card with her goals in the little boxes. And she rewards herself if she can fulfill the bingo card. And so that could be a really fun, cool idea to gamify your goals this year, is create a bingo card of goals. You could do this for yourself. You could do this as a family and keep it on your fridge or somewhere in your home. It's fun to check them off. Who doesn't love the dopamine hit when you get to cross something off your to-do list, put the big X in the bingo box? So try to gamify your goals somehow. All right. Are you still with me? Are you still with me? Yeah, we are almost done and ready to wrap up today's episode. I want to give you some real quick final encouragement and statistics, I think, that are going to blow your mind when it comes to goal achievement. So I am a big fan of mindset. You know this. I'm a certified coach. I'm an intuitive coach, and I just know the value in my personal and professional experience of how much mindset can truly impact your success in anything in life. And so if you go into this goal with the mindset of, I got this, I can do this, I'm totally going to make this happen, guess what? You're going to be up to 95% more likely to be able to say that you did that. And why this is because when you believe it, you achieve it. Your thoughts affect how you feel, which affect your actions, which affect your results. So a mindset that believes that they can do this goal is a mindset that is 95% more likely to make it happen. Okay. Next thing, organization. I said it before, be a planner. Even if you're not a planner, you don't think you're a planner, lean in to a little bit of planning, a little extra planning this year, a little extra organization to prioritize this goal or these goals. Know who you are. Self-awareness to me is the most underrated, valuable skill set we can develop in this lifetime. Like the more you know about yourself, the better you're able to do life, the better you're able to communicate, the better you're able to be the contributor in a relationship, the recipient in a conversation. Gosh, the better you're able to sell. If you're in sales, the better you're able to achieve goals, set goals. Just you're able to do life so much better when you know who you are. How do you figure out who you are? Lean into that. Take some self-awareness assessments. Work with a coach, like go to therapy. Get to know you on a much deeper level. And then the last one here that I want to share with you has to do with accountability. So that seems to be the place where like we're really excited to set the goal, to think about the goal, to creatively design the vision board and all the things. But then when it comes to actually doing the goal and consistently sticking with the goal, that seems to be where a lot of us get a little bored with the goal. Am I right? And so accountability can help with that. And what that looks like is telling someone else that you have set this goal, like picking a friend, an accountability partner, and checking in consistently with that person. And if you don't have someone who comes to mind in your life who you can really trust and lean into and work with in this way, and I say work, like just be with in this way, then maybe it is an investment that you make in a coach and working with a coach. I know I am super self-motivated, and I have also done immense things that I didn't even think I could do on my own with coaches in this world, in my business, in my personal life. And it has been because of that accountability partnership that I've been able to get there. And so having an accountability partner, whether that's a friend, a trusted person in your life, a mentor, a hired coach, can get you to achieve your goal up to, again, a compelling statistic, up to 95% more likely, especially if you're doing those check-ins. Okay. So like weekly check-ins, monthly check-ins, whatever that looks like. But if you have that going, you are definitely much more likely to succeed in that goal. All right, my friends, that is our episode on goal achievement, setting goals, achieving goals, all things goals. First episode of 2026. I hope you found it empowering and inspiring. I hope that you, if you don't have goals in mind or you weren't planning to set a goal this year, that this has motivated you to do that. I think goals are amazing. As I mentioned, I always have multiple goals going in my life, but even if you just want to lean into one this year, that could be super impactful. I would encourage you to do that. All right. So I will see you on the next episode. Thank you as always for being an incredible part of this community, a listener, a friend. Until next time, Mama, keep on working it. Bye. That's a wrap for this episode of the Mama Work It podcast. I hope you feel empowered, inspired, and ready to take your next step. If this episode spoke to you, share it with another amazing mama, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It helps us show up wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to head over to mamaworkit.com for free resources, coaching support, and new ways to momage your days as a busy mom. Until next time, keep on working it, mama.